Call 888-605-SIZE now and lose your first 5 pounds fast.
Fans use signs to identify themselves. The chalk, the fork, the O, hook 'em horns. But there's one sign everyone wants to be identified with. Number 1. Fans show their loyalty in all kinds of ways. Ours just buy another Hyundai. Number 1 in customer loyalty 5 years in a row. Show your loyalty using the hashtag #ThisIsLoyalty.
Rose Bowl lights on, ready for the second half. Welcome back to the college football playoff at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Interesting first half. Oregon had the ball 5 minutes less than Florida State, but squeezed in 3 more plays. Both offenses, Kirk, moving the ball pretty well, but all the important plays in that half really came down inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, they sure did. We saw Florida State in many cases have to settle for a field goal. They didn't convert there on that 4th down, but look at the Home Depot coaches' adjustments. It's what can this Knowles defense do to get Marcus Mariota off track and running and executing this offense. Simple zone read. He pulls around, picks up big yards here. They blitz him. They get to him. He's able to pull away and find an open receiver. And this is probably the theme of the first half, the tempo, how it impacted Florida State. In many cases, not even getting lined up right, definitely on their heels, losing their aggressive nature. And that's something that Charles Kelly's going to have to try to come up with an answer for.
Chance for that Knowles defense to rest. And now Florida State will go back on offense to begin the second half. Swogan kicks it away. So Whitfield at the 1. Kermit can't quite get the corner. Good coverage from Oregon. Knocked down at the 20-yard line by Keenan Lowe, the receiver.
Love to see these receivers from Oregon on kickoff coverage. I remember Jeff Mayle years ago for Oregon score a touchdown. Next thing you know, he's downfield covering a kickoff. Took more pride in covering the kickoff and making a tackle. And there's Keenan Lowe continuing that tradition. And you also have Charles Nelson, another freshman wide receiver, covers kicks and makes a lot of plays on kickoff coverage.
Get Nelson, a freshman receiver. He's had 16 tackles this year. That's an insane number.
Yeah, he's a little guy. He's 5'8", 170 pounds, but they say he's just a ball hawk. He goes in and throws his body in there.
So the second half, when Winston typically shines, they start from the 20, and Jameis fires over the middle, complete for a 20-yard gain. It's Travis Rudolph, who stepped up because Green's had a quiet game.
Watch the middle of the Oregon defense underneath open up. The 2 linebackers separate. There's the window. Jameis made a throw earlier in the first half, one of the few where he didn't have somebody in his face, and one of the few where he had a man open. They start the second half where the Red Sea just parts and he makes an easy throw.
20-yard gain. Cook cutting it back. Desmond mentioned he was very productive in the first half, closing in on 100 yards. Do you expect to see a heavier dose of number 4 in the second half?
Yeah, well, Jimbo usually just goes with a hot hand, and as much as Dalvin Cook looked good, there were moments where the senior Karlos Williams came in there and did a nice job as well. But I'm going to tell you something. If I'm Jimbo Fisher, I'm challenging my offensive line, because as much zone and as soft as Oregon has been with coverage, the answer is running the football and controlling the line of scrimmage.
On 2nd and 9, Winston has excellent time and again fires across the middle, complete for a first down. And that is Rashad Green, who so often becomes a factor in the second half.
You see the adjustment from Jimbo Fisher. He's attacking the interior of the Oregon defense. They're sitting back in cover 2, trying to keep everything in front of them. So they're going to start to try to attack the linebackers from Oregon if they're not getting the proper depth and recognizing those crossing routes.
Here's another first down throw. Again, over the middle, incomplete. That time overled Travis Rudolph. Down to Heather Cox.
Chris, now just 3 catches for Rashad Green, no catches for Nick O'Leary. Jimbo Fisher's take on it: we are taking what the Oregon defense is giving us. It has nothing to do with Nick O'Leary's tweaked hamstring that he pulled in warmups. Yes, he'd like to get the ball more to Rashid, as you just saw, and to Nick. The biggest thing, red zone execution. We have got to score touchdowns instead of field goals inside the 20.
There's a 2nd and 10 handoff to Cook, who bounces it, now cuts back, follows a block from Rudolph, and muscles, loses the football. Oregon's got it. At the end of the run, the ball came out. And the true freshman coughs it up.
What a great effort by Derek Malone not to give up on the play. 22 will come in from behind and rip that football out before Cook's knee touches the ground. This is a great game. Florida State did a nice job on the outside zone play, but 22 Malone, who was behind the play, was no longer involved in the play, but he didn't give up on it, came back to rip the ball away and create the turnover.
You know, I always talk, Kirk, it's no matter how brilliant you are as a true freshman back, you often see guys lose the ball in plays like that. Mariota, first down throw in traffic on the edge, and Nelson couldn't come up with it. Just the different level of intensity, bigger, stronger guys ripping at the ball. Cook has worked hard to try to conquer that fumbling problem.
Jimbo Fisher right away going over and talking to him. And I think that's important for a head coach to do with any back or anybody that makes a crucial mistake, let alone a true freshman.
Mariota fakes it to Freeman and now fires. Carrington running free, still on his feet. Hurdled a tackler and dives now near the 35-yard line of Florida State. And the Ducks up to the line quickly.
There was a bust there in coverage, a combination of coverages, half the defense playing zone and on the right side playing man. So when Carrington broke free, he had a lot of room to work to the right side.
34-yard gain. They barely got the marker set before Mariota snapped it. And now Nelson driven out after a short gain.
Much better job by Florida State there getting off. Now you're going to see him work across, but when he does, once he makes the catch, look at the man-to-man, and that allows him to just be able to pick that up and run for more yards because of the coverage that the corners went downfield. Not to mention a pretty nifty move there to get around P.J. Williams.
The flag on the field, near side, near the line of scrimmage. Ducks were moving so fast. Were they properly lined up on that last play?
Illegal formation on the offense. More than 4 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
The answer is no.
It's a testament to what Chip Kelly started here. Mark Helfrich and Scott Frost continue. Not a whole lot of miscues with this hurry up.
They never win the time of possession battle. Only 3 times under Helfrich as a head coach, but they often run more plays than the opponent. And that's the case here so far.
Not only is it a penalty, but it slows down their rhythm on a penalty like that.
Nelson in motion. They fake it to Freeman. Mariota on the roll, cuts it back, now fires late, complete to Bayless, who's been a weapon today, and the tight end muscling down near the 10. And Pharaoh Brown is smiling, the man who suffered that grisly injury. Bayless doing his best to fill in for him, Kirk, and having a big ball game.
6'6", 250 pounds, makes a nice catch, but then picks up valuable yards after it with his physicality.
He got 30 yards there, and the Noles barely lined up before Freeman hammers ahead. Here's a flag. Northrup made the tackle.
It's a face mask, it looked like on Northrup.
Well, you do those kinds of things when you're tired.
Personal foul, face mask, defense on the 5. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
You might be a step slow, you're reaching and grabbing, and that's when the penalties come in.
It's almost desperation mode. You know, they come up with a big 30-yard gain, and before you can really reassess what just happened, the ball snaps. And now you're trying to make a play, and there's 5 reaching in with his hands, doing anything you can. Grab a jersey, grab a leg, in that case, grab a face mask to try to prevent him from getting into the end zone.
First and goal. They don't always quick snap it. They'll sometimes look to the sideline for the adjustment. Scott Frost is the play caller, former Nebraska quarterback and NFL safety. Freeman running right, cuts it back, muscles into the end zone, and the Ducks stretch the lead in their first possession of the second half. Cook's fumble turned the ball over, and the Ducks march 69 yards in 5 quick plays. Second touchdown for the Ducks' true freshman tailback. Schneider to put the lead at 12.
So the fumble by the young freshman, Dalvin Cook, sets this up. The touchdown here. Watch the center here, Chris. This is really impressive. You don't see a lot of centers. Grasu, watch him pull and seal it backside. Nice job right there. Nifty footwork with a guy that has a bum ankle. Does a nice job there. Opens up that running lane, and the Ducks go on the board again.
This personal foul, keep an eye on number 7, Matthew Thomas from the Seminoles on the extra point.
After the kick.
Yeah, got his hand up in the face of Washington, so the Ducks up a dozen for the second time today. Will kick off from midfield. Redshirt freshman has been a little bit prone to some loss of poise this year. Great player.
It's part of the frustration of trying to defend this Oregon offense.
And Logan just boots it way out of the end zone. The Ducks moving efficiently in that last drive.
Yeah, 5 plays, 69 yards, a minute 32. A little bit of everything from Mariota, making some great decisions. The big tight end Bayless, and then watch Grasu playing with a bum ankle. Missed the last few games. Here, pulling and then sealing Derek Mitchell to free up the run there for the touchdown.
You wonder, Kirk, you know, the tight end hasn't been featured much since Barrow Brown's awful injury. Bayless has as many catches in this Rose Bowl as he had all season, and for more yards. So he has stepped up, and perhaps the Noles not paying up to now a lot of attention to him.
And with Mariota, he does not predetermine. He's reading the coverage, and if Bayless is open, he's going to make the throw.
So it's Williams back in the game, and Karlos Williams quickly knifing back to the left for a close to 10-yard gain.
Williams has a little bit, I don't know if he's healthier. He's got a little bit of a different feel to him tonight. I mean, he is running with passion.
He bounced over in the pregame and shook my hand and said hello. And I said, "You feeling great?" He said, yeah, he had a concussion and had missed some time. Didn't play in the ACC championship game. And second and very short, has to fight for a first down across the 35.
The reason Oregon's been able to play so much zone, kind of a bend but don't break type of defense, is they've relied on that defensive line. DeForest Buckner, 44, Alex Mortucci, 56, and Eric Armstead, number 9. These 3 guys have been asked to hold up, eat up blocks, free up those linebackers, and not only are they doing that, a lot of times they're getting penetration against the Florida State O-line.
Dalvin Cook lined up deep. They fake it to him. Winston rolling back and fires underneath to the fullback Stevenson, who's out near midfield before Daniel stops him. Another first down.
Well, they just lost him in coverage, something you don't see very often. He's right here. He's going to delay and just work his way underneath. You combine that with the action, you get the linebackers out of position. A nice block there by Nick O'Leary. He's fallen off his back foot because of the pressure that he feels from Prevo, but still throws an accurate ball there to the big fullback.
Play action on first down. Winston pressured, loses the ball momentarily, picks it up, but is sacked by Tony Washington. Second sack for the Ducks.
A delayed blitz that confuses the offensive line. And again, Jameis Winston, he's right here. Looks like he's in coverage. He'll sneak out, and then he'll come. Dalvin Cook doesn't see him because he comes so late. The line didn't adjust that way, so he comes free again. We've seen Prevo come free a lot off the edge of some delayed blitzes that the offensive lineman or the running back have not been able to account for.
Washington the pressure. Tyson Coleman cleaned it up. And that play lost 11 yards. Play clock down at 1 as Winston just gets it away. Fires near side, incomplete. Just over the head of the defender Dargan and short of Rashad Green, who continues to have a frustrating game.
Yeah, it's very, very surprising. We've not seen Rashad Green held in check. And what makes that an amazing storyline is Ifo Ekpreolamu is not in this lineup for Oregon. We thought it'd be a clear advantage for Florida State and Green.
Troy Hill told us, I got something for him. And I will jaw at him, I will jam him, and I'll shut him down. That's a brash statement against a great receiver, but so far Green hasn't been an impact player. 3rd and 21. Far sideline catch made, 1st down. It's Wilson. And a nice strong throw by Winston.
Boy, just make sure, just check that he gets his feet down for the 1st down. It's a nice catch, gets both his feet down.
Remember that play, Kirk, 3rd and 21.
Yeah, that is a huge play to keep this drive alive, and Jameis is going a little bit of tempo himself.
You're down a dozen points to a rolling offense. Keep the drive alive with a big conversion, and now Green a short gain as they get it to the edge.
Go back to the previous play, similar formation. You see Bobo Wilson, who's lined up at the line. He just gets lost in coverage. That's the young man, Chris Cisse. And I don't know if he and Eric Dargan were on the same page. Yet one guy's a senior, one guy's a freshman who was in for Ifo Ekpe-Olomu. My guess is Cisse that time should have sunk back in coverage, especially on 3rd and 21. Don't worry about the underneath throw.
Cook and a 2nd down handoff, dragged down. It's tough for a defense. You think we're going to get him off the field here. It's 3rd and 21. All of a sudden, the big pass, and it's the Ducks who are backpedaling now a little bit.
Yeah, and now it sets up another 3rd down. Obviously, much more manageable at 3rd and 3.
Florida State 4 of 9 on 3rd down and unable to convert that 4th and goal. And 1. Williams is the tailback. It's Rudolph motioning in the slot. Winston's going to throw. And they find the spot in the zone. It's Green beginning to get involved. 1st down in the red zone.
Jameis Winston uses his eyes to keep the linebacker Rodney Hardrick into the middle of this defense. Really good job of using his eyes to keep the one threat was the linebacker 48 of possibly coming over, but he does a good job of keeping him, Hardrick, away from where he needed to be to come over to be able to make a play on Rashad Green. Using his eyes to the middle, coming back, making a great throw on 3rd down to Green, and now, as you said, Chris, Green starting to get a lot more involved.
1st down play action. Winston on the run, fires back down near the goal line, caught and reaching for the end zone. Touchdown, Travis Rudolph. That's how a championship team responds. You thought the Noles were going to go away?
How about the call here on 1st and 10? Great mixture of plays by Jimbo Fisher. Some runs, some throws, and on 1st and 10, Oregon brings some pressure. They go play action, and Jameis Winston rolls away from it to get outside of the pressure and makes another accurate throw, this time to the freshman Rudolph.
Winston's 1st touchdown pass continues his streak. At least 1 TD pass in every career start. All 27 now. Went 75 yards in 10 plays. And Aguayo knocks it through. A crucial touchdown march from the defending champions.
No doubt about it. Oregon's defense, watch how they attack the line of scrimmage on 1st and 10. Rudolph comes from the backside all the way over, and Jameis waits to the last second to get him to clear and get away from the safety. Eric Dargan puts the ball there, and a great effort by Rudolph to extend the ball for the touchdown.
Forward march to the next generation and a brand new age. To the future and the future of tough. Introducing the all-new Ford F-150.
The 2015 Rose Bowl game is brought to you by the all-new Ford F-150, the future of tough. AT&T, presenting sponsor of the College Football Playoff National Championship game. And the Venture Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited double miles with no blackout dates.
Beyond the Rose Bowl trophy, the winner, of course, today, a chance to compete for the National Championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper as the San Gabriels are bathed in late-day sunlight. Byron Marshall from his 5 knocked down. You do love the San Gabriels, don't you? It brings
growing up
to your heart.
Well, growing up in the Big Ten country in the heart of Ohio, it's dark at about 4 o'clock. It's gray. It's cold. There's snow on the ground. And my whole life, I would turn on the Rose Bowl, and it was just like going from black and white TV to high def. And to be able to look at this in person now for 9 straight years, it never gets old looking at that view. To me, this is the best setting in sports. I would love to see the national championship played in this venue every single year.
This is the best office in the world, by the way, isn't it?
This is the best.
Mojave Desert, by the way, on the other side. In case you're interested.
You'll coach me up.
All right, now it's the Ducks' turn. The lead cut back to 5. Winston flips it on the edge to Carrington. And then all of a sudden, a pretty good job on those wide passes of closing things down.
Yeah, we're going to try to give you a feel. There's Scott Frost, top right, who calls the play. Down on the right, they're already signaling the play. The play's already been called. Mariota's already, everybody's on the same page. We're 10 seconds in. They're ready to snap the ball. We're going to give you a feel of how quickly this happens throughout the next few sequence of plays.
Hand off to Tyner. And he's got a first down, and now they'll really ramp up the tempo.
Now watch out, Scott Frost. Watch it. See how quick he calls this. He may have already called it. The guys are already signaling.
And the card's upside down, by the way. I hope that wasn't important.
Yeah. But Mariota, look, he's ready to go. 10 seconds. Snap the ball.
And Tyner again cuts it back. In case you're wondering, it's a combination of signals and symbols, so that the cards often don't mean a whole lot.
No, but the point is the timing of it. Mariota looking over right now to the cards and to the different signals. Some of them are decoy and some of the real call. But Mariota snapping, clapping his hands. He's ready for the snap.
Play action. Mariota flips it short. It's Bayless with another catch, and he muscles forward, shoved out by Williams on the far side, but it's his first down.
Yeah, Scott Frost has already made the next call. Literally, he said within 2 seconds he needs to make the call to get it down when they're really going tempo as they are right now.
Helfrich will help out occasionally if he's swimming, in Frost's words.
Yeah.
Because your head can swim when you play this fast. Mariota thinking fast, makes a completion on the far side, and running free is Darren Carrington. Tempo is deadly, and execution equally so.
They ran the same play the previous play where he threw it out into the flat to the tight end, right? Bayless made a great catch. They come back with a very similar look, and this time 2 Florida State defenders go out with Bayless, and that opens it up. Mariota does a great job of reading it, and he makes the throw.
And this quarterback duel is heating up. Mariota's first touchdown pass of the game. Schneider stretches the lead for a 3rd time, back to a 12 points. 56 yards, Kirk.
So here's the tight end on the previous play. He's going to go out in the flat. Carrington's going to go down the sideline, and Mariota's going to make this read. He sees that he's got it open in the flat, and he takes it. All right, and then the strength gets the first down. The very next play, now watch this. Now you got the tight end in the flat, and you got 2 Florida State defenders. They take the tight end away. Gives him a nice lane right here, and he makes the throw on time and allows him to come back underneath the safety because he got the football out of his hands quickly. That was the key to being able to make that cut and then eventually take it to the house for another Duck touchdown.
The Duck getting a workout as Winston must now answer again, down a 12 points after Mariota's 56-yard touchdown pass to Carrington. Wilson's going to bring it out, or thought he was. Now he is. A double hesitation by Jesus Wilson. Now he gets free momentarily and is driven out at the 12-yard line.
It's the ball here. When he initially stepped out, remember, it's not his foot, but it's the football. And that looked, that's a tough angle there, but regardless, he came out. But I don't know if he had to come out, but it wasn't just that his foot came outside. It was that the football needed to break the plane.
Side judge was going to blow the whistle in a split second.
Yeah.
Wilson hadn't taken that out.
It's one of those gray areas. He made a mistake just to be safe. Probably better to take it out.
He did very well to get back to the 17 after all that. Can Winston answer? Again, working the middle of the field and finding Cook. We're about 7.
That's definitely the adjustment that Jimbo Fisher made with Jameis Winston. Because they weren't able to make plays to the outside of the Oregon defense with Rashad Green and the other receivers, right away we've seen them in these first couple drives of this second half attack the middle underneath. And when you make a simple throw like that, similar to what we just saw with Oregon, now you get the linebackers next time the back is in front of them to come up, and it can open up a nice route behind them.
They felt they could attack the duck inside linebackers, didn't they? Winston breaks free. Knocked down across the 30, a first down.
Effective. It's not Marcus Mariota, and he never would claim to be. These guys do it so differently, but because he is healthier, he's able to run a little bit of zone read himself. And on second down and short, why not use it when you're thinking tailback, tailback, tailback? Every once in a while, kind of like what Andrew Luck used to do at Stanford, once in a while you save that with a quarterback that's athletic enough to get some yards.
Play action on first down. Winston fires far side. Catch made by Herman Lane, and makes a man miss. Ducks knock him down after a 5-yard gain.
Really impressed with the speed of Oregon. That's what they've always been known for. They are closing in on these Florida State receivers.
Mariota closing in on a 300-yard game. Does have the uncharacteristic interception that didn't cost him just before halftime. Winston hasn't thrown a pick yet.
After a quiet first halves for both guys, as far as stats and numbers, starting to see why they're so unique and special to their teams.
No doubt. Here's an incompletion and gunned it near side for Rudolph, but it'll be 3rd and 5. One of the rare miscommunications between Winston and the receiver today.
He's frustrated with his receiver Rudolph because he wanted him to kind of run a banana route. Instead of saying parallel, he wanted him to come up towards the line of scrimmage, and he stays out here. He wanted him to come there. He threw it more where he would be running downhill, and the young freshman instead ran it, and he was a little too parallel to the line of scrimmage.
They converted 3rd and 21 on the last touchdown drive. They need just 5, but this is an important play. Ducks show pressure, then back off into coverage, but it's Cook underneath, losing the ball. Caught it and fumbled it. Reggie Daniels for the Ducks. A second turnover and a second fumble by the true freshman on this big stage. Ouch.
We saw the senior Derek Malone earlier go after the true freshman and knock the ball loose, and this time it's Eric Dargan. The Noles have a first down. Well executed play, but again, it's from behind. The senior Dargan rips that ball loose, and when it goes down, there's nothing but green jerseys all over it to pick up another turnover by Florida State. That ball never seemed to be securely in the arms or hands of the young running back. Here's the leadership of Jameis Winston. A lot of football left. We cannot afford to have him lose his head if I'm Jameis Winston.
He's lost the ball twice, though. We'll have to see if they go with Williams from here on out. Now, can Mariota make him pay? Play action. They fire it near side. This is Nelson, who gets a block. Charles Nelson dancing down inside the 30. It's first down.
Yeah, if you think they've gone tempo before, this team senses when they have a defense and a team. It's kind of that blood in the water kind of feel. That's where Oregon is right now with a nice lead by 12 points. They get a turnover. Now you're going to see tempo.
Fake it to Freeman. Pump fake. Running free again as Carrington sidesteps a man and scores. Made to pay in a hurry for Dalvin Cook's second fumble. Carrington's second touchdown in short order from 56 and now 30 yards, Kurt.
They baited him, and then they attacked. Got exactly what they wanted. And this Florida State defense that's been reeling, they got lulled to sleep, and that's where Marcus Mariota makes his big plays.
Schneider makes it a 19-point lead.
You got a receiver right here at the bottom. Now watch the Florida State defense. You see how they attacked They're thinking about that short, quick throw. They bit up on that pump fake. They do it so many times in this offense. Carrington acting like he's blocking, then goes downfield, makes the throw. Set up once again, Chris, by the turnover by the freshman.
Yeah, both of Cook's fumbles have been cashed in for touchdowns. Winston and the Noles are really up against it now, down 19 to a team on a roll. They have another escape left in them.
Now you can get 30.
Dusk in Southern California. Nice view from DirecTV's aerial coverage. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Noles got to get a touchdown here to answer. It's not, with all due respect to some of the teams in the ACC, it's not NC State, it's not anybody else. It's Oregon that you're down big against.
And what's unique about this is it's one thing for Jameis Winston and the Noles and Jimbo Fisher maybe to get on track and score, but you're down 19 points now. Are you telling me all of a sudden you're going to stop Marcus Mariota?
Wilson trying to provide a spark with the return, but he's knocked down short of the 25-yard line. This 29-game winning streak has been stretched by consistently showing heart and resolve and making clutch plays. You see the deficit and what they eventually won by. The last 4 games, Kirk, decided by a total of 14 points. But this is a hold that's far more imposing than anything they've faced in that streak.
Yeah, they've not faced this kind of offense that they're trying to catch up to. Georgia Tech that night in Charlotte had a great game of executing, but they don't have the firepower with Marcus Mariota and the speed that he has around him.
They've got 19 minutes and 16 seconds to keep the back-to-back title dreams alive. Winston, short completion over the middle. The Ducks will give him that.
And what I was going to say is what they've done all game is they've dropped their corners and safeties. They are deep. They're not giving away any throws. It's been the plan from the very first play for the Ducks defense. Don't give up any explosive plays over the top. Build that umbrella. Keep everything in front, which is going to make it hard for Jameis Winston because he's not going to more than likely get an explosive play. Everything has to be underneath.
On 2nd and 5, you saw Cook on the sidelines as they go to the senior Williams, spelling him after the 2 fumbles, and it's another 3rd down play coming up.
The linebackers and the safeties just really in great position. The offensive line trying to work to that 2nd level, but they can't get off of those 3 down linemen. They're eating up blocks and freeing up the middle linebackers and the safeties to make plays against the run.
And making a strong statement to people from around the country who've called this team soft and finesse.
I don't think it's just this team. I think it's the Oregon program that they use some of those words and terms for.
Label doesn't fit, folks.
No.
And now they'll have to spend a timeout, which could be costly in a potential comeback here. 3rd and 4 play, obviously important to convert it, but Fisher was a little bit frustrated to have to spend a timeout. And Kirk, you've talked about just the difficulty of defending this Oregon offense with the skill set of Mariota, the deception, and the tempo all working together. It's gotten the better of the Noles here in the 2nd half.
And you knew coming in it was going to be a big factor. I call it the equalizer for Oregon. You have a quarterback that's played now 40 games. He has a skill set that's as good as any quarterback that's ever run this scheme, and he knows every defense you can throw at him, so he makes adjustments along with the tempo. And then the other thing is they lull you to sleep. They run the middle, they run outside, they throw the quick throw to the outside of the perimeter. They throw it enough that you just saw in the last touchdown. They fake it. Guys are out of position. Another guy sneaks downfield, and they throw for touchdown passes. They have done it for 6 years now. Very, very few teams have done a good job of being able to slow them down. In fact, the only teams really have done a good job, they've just either had dominating defensive linemen like LSU or maybe an Auburn, or teams within their conference that get a little bit more familiar with their tempo.
To an important 3rd and 4 off the timeout. Winston has time, delivers again across the middle. 1st down catch. Williams running across the 45. The tailbacks have been an important weapon out of the backfield with Green and O'Leary relatively quiet today.
We've got an injury there, another duck down. But this is another play we saw last time in the last possession. Cook make a play where he fumbled it. He came out on the right to come out of the backfield on the right side. This time we have Karlos Williams coming out to the left. So look at the eyes of Jameis Winston. Waits to the last possible second and then makes that throw. And as we said, they're taking away the deep throws, so you've got to make the throw underneath and hope that either a receiver or running back can find a crease or a seam and then accelerate upfield.
It was Dargan who was down again. He's out. Robinson replaces him. It's a first down run, and breaking free, Williams, the senior, spinning to the 35-yard line.
It's a much better job by the offensive line. They win the battle up front. You can see there's nobody in the middle. They are spread out with the formation of Florida State and all the wide receivers all over the field. And Karlos Williams, it looked like initially at the handoff there, looked like he might have lost control of the ball. That wasn't the best execution there between the quarterback and the running back.
You fake it to Williams. Winston fires low and incomplete. Cook with those 2 fumbles on the sidelines now. He's got 103 yards. Karlos Williams trying to make it a second tailback in the 100-yard club today.
Knowles not only facing Oregon, but obviously also their enemy right now, the clock.
Yep. That's the downside of running the ball and methodically moving it downfield.
Oregon more than willing to give up yards and keep the clock moving. They just want to keep everything in front of them and rally to the ball.
Rudolph on the edge, gets a block, gets free, and is knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard gain.
Impressed by these corners. I really had my doubts, my questions about how they hold out without their 4-year starter, Ifo Ekpre-Olomu, their leader, injured in bowl preparation. And Troy Hill and Chris Cisse, up to this point, have held their own. They've done more than hold their own.
There's another third down. They need 5. Winston, pressured, delivers. Incomplete. Was a little bit behind Travis Rudolph. Troy Hill was defending, and now it's 4th down.
Well, he had him wide open. I was surprised he didn't release it. His eyes must have been looking to another area. In fact, I think he was looking off to his left. But for a while there, Travis Rudolph clear in the middle, just open, just waiting for the football. And by the time Jameis Winston saw him, it was too late.
They couldn't get the 4th down earlier, and they still don't have a 4th down conversion all season long. They need 5 yards here to really maintain contact in this football game. Play clock winding down. Does Jameis see it? No, the sideline did, and a second timeout burned on this drive, Kurt.
Jimbo Fisher probably telling Jameis Winston to come over here. He wants to talk to him, saying you got to go hurry up. Going too slow. He's talking to the center, Cam Irving. That hurts to. He
says we got to go. We got to go.
Of course, twice on this possession, they've had to burn timeouts. And those
this is a huge play here. It's a crucial play, really.
Oh yeah. But those are timeouts that when you're down by 19 with 1:53 to go in the third, you can't afford to lose those timeouts.
I totally agree, but they need to try to get the 5 yards.
Got to get it. Yeah.
What does he draw up here?
Well, I think depending on the coverage that he gets.
You'd think O'Leary a lot of times in this situation, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but we have not seen a lot of that tonight. We've seen the back sneaking out of the backfield, whether it's been Cook or Williams, either some kind of crossing route underneath. Now you got to watch the nose guard. Balducci's been dropping in coverage. And Oregon does that. They'll show it's like a zone blitz where they'll show pressure from the outside and drop a defensive lineman on these quick underneath throws. But over this entire year, they've had a lot of success throwing quick slants and underneath throws to Rashad Green.
Knowles got to get 5. Ducks rush only 3. Winston has all day. Tries to escape, circles back, still alive. Loses the football. Ball comes out. It's scooped up by the Ducks. And Tony Washington streaking to the end zone. Is that the Ducks' dagger?
You know, in some ways, with the year that Winston and Florida State, the year that they've enjoyed and coming back so many different times, it almost took something as bizarre as that play to maybe do them in and finish them off this year.
He circled, he stayed alive forever, stumbled.
Yeah.
Finally just dropped the ball, and Tony Washington, most experienced guy on that defense, in his 29th start, adds to what's been a terrific game for him. And Schneider has the extra point blocked. There's a scrum there, and they'll blow it dead. The lead stays at 25.
This was, again, great coverage by Oregon. They took away all of his reads early. He's trying to keep this play alive, and as he starts to scramble around, Karlos Williams was there to break free, but it's very tough to see him. And how about Tony Washington? He's the one, he left Karlos Williams in coverage to get pressure. And when he did, Jameis Winston just trying to keep the play alive, just fighting and struggling to try to make something happen.
That's the third fumble recovery on the season for Washington. He made a big sack to clinch a win over Washington State. He's been a clutch player. Mariota says, we're up by 25. Jameis falls into a deeper hole, one that the Noles seem unlikely to escape. Nothing's impossible with this team. They've not been up against it like this.
Calm down.
Did he say are you going to the bench if you don't call? I think trying to lip read is tricky.
I got a lot of lip reading there. I'll just tell you later when we get to a break.
Well, I think I recognize a few of those words. But I think he says, I'll tell you, you might go to the bench. He might have something like that.
Yeah, I think he said calm down. And
it's a third Florida State fumble in the third quarter.
Competitive fire from a head coach and a quarterback. We don't need to make any more out of that.
No. It happens a lot.
Yeah. Just frustration. They're not used to being in this position.
Not this far behind.
No.
Not against a team this good. Whitfield. Can he produce some magic? Flag comes down as Whitfield still squirts free into Oregon territory, but there was a flag, a couple of them on the field very early in the return.
Yeah, a couple, I wouldn't even call them holds, a couple tackles there by Florida State. This will come back.
Desperate to try to get Whitfield loose here, as he got loose a year ago and gave the Noles their first lead of the game against Auburn. Hasn't really been a return weapon this year. Whitfield hasn't been a strength for this team. As the conversation continues.
There are two fouls on the play. Holding, receiving team number 18. That penalty's declined. Holding, receiving team number 20. That foul will be enforced. 10 yards, first down.
That's 16 minutes and 26 seconds. Down 25. So you need at least 4 touchdowns if you can keep Oregon out of the end zone.
Right. I mean, it's interesting. You think about 25 points you're trying to overcome. First thing you got to do is get a first down, right? It's a long way to go.
They can't really afford to be methodical now.
No.
They work the middle of the field again. He's knocked down as Rudolph after a gain across the 35.
Again, Oregon, they have been doing it and doing it well. This is not a game where you're concerned about stats. And, well, we're going to give up some yards. You're going to give up some plays over the middle of the field. You concede that, prevent the big play. And as I've been saying all night, rally to the ball and keep that clock moving if you're Oregon.
Winston. Ball came out wobbly, picked off. It was out of the hands of Travis Rudolph. Another turnover. Was his arm hit as he threw?
Now the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage by DeForest Buckner, 6'7", 290. And we knew with Buckner and Armstead, one 6'7" and the other 6'8", that they had a chance to knock these footballs down. And you'll see it off to the left. 44, number 70. He gets his hand on the ball right there, deflects it. Made it tougher for Rudolph to hold on to the ball, but then it goes out of his hands. And there is Dargan again. He's made a lot of big plays tonight for the Ducks defense. Had a strip, that eventually led to a fumble and a touchdown for Oregon. This time off the tip ball from his teammate Buckner through the hands of the receiver Rudolph and into his hands for the interception.
And now the Ducks are off and running again. It's Freeman around the edge in the final minute of the third quarter, trying to make it an even bigger deficit for Florida State.
That's the thing with Oregon. It's not as if they think, okay, we're up 25. You've turned the ball over a bunch here. We're gonna slow up. We're gonna ease up. If anything, they're gonna go faster right now.
Freeman spinning away. It's a first down at the 31. Don't have to snap it again in the third quarter, but they might.
They might. Well, they've got just enough from this running game tonight. 149 yards, 157 yards on the ground through 3 quarters to complement what they like to do in this offense. And there's Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, who has worked so many hours and spent so much time with Jameis Winston, just trying to calm him down, trying to just, you know, put the 4 up. Let's try to keep competing, keep your composure.
Now the 4 fingers refers to the fourth quarter, but it could refer also to 4 turnovers for Florida State, which have been huge. Cashed in by the Ducks for 21 points and the potential for more. Oregon up by 25, 15 minutes away from the championship game in Texas. Deep, deep trouble for O'Leary and the reigning champions.
That mess with a
101st Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. Also the first ever college football playoff semifinal game, and the Ducks are in the driver's seat as we begin the final quarter. Dominant 27-point third quarter for Oregon. 4 touchdowns, including 1 by the defense. And the first down play, Mariota rolls, flips it to the end zone, over the head of Marshall. He was close to the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
Yeah. Jameis Winston, while we were at the commercial, he's gathered his emotions with Randy Sanders, and now he's trying to convey that same message to the offensive line and the rest of this offense. Believe in yourself.
Talking about a guy that hasn't lost a football game since 2011. Alabama State High School semifinals. Viger High School beat him. Bayless makes the catch. Down to Heather Cox.
Guys, I was right behind the bench when Jameis got his entire offense together. Like you saw, he sat in the coach's chair and preached to his team, said, believe in ourselves. We are here for a reason. I love every single one of you. Keep believing. Then he stood up and went and shook every single player on his offense.
Well, can his defense get him the football back? Ducks need 5 on third down, and Freeman is stopped short. Reggie Northrup wrapped him up. It'll be 4th and about 2 yards, Kirk.
Yeah, one of the few times we've seen Oregon slow down. Instead of running to the edge, to the perimeter, they run the big fella Freeman. Comes up a little bit short, but you got to always remember with Mark Helfrich, even with his big lead, this is always 4-down territory. So third down, they're just thinking about trying to get it to 4th and even more manageable.
Excellent percentage all year long, converting on 4th down. Stopped earlier. Mariota keeps it for now. Cuts back, and Marcus Mariota, a green blur to the end zone. And the Ducks hang half 100. +1 on the defending champs.
Watch Kasher. He's in position to make the play. He outruns Kasher. Kasher should at the very least made him pitch the ball, and then you've got a running back and a corner to be able to make the play. It was good execution. Florida State's men were there. Marcus Mariota's skill and speed ran right by his read, and instead of Kasher making the play to make him deliver the football out, he just ran right by him.
23-yard touchdown, Kirk. Flag on the 1 after touchdown.
Offside, defense 99, enter the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. That penalty's declined. Repeat the try.
Watch Kasher right there. Great position. Make him pitch the ball. And you have P.J. Williams on the pitch back. Royce Freeman. But the speed, talking about an elite athlete in Marcus Mariota, and Kasher, 250 pounds out in space. He can't make that play.
There may be some other quarterbacks who can run this fast. Other quarterbacks who can throw accurately. No one can do both those things like this guy.
It brings an air of excitement, a refined presence, bustling with infectious energy, pushing you to the limits, awakening your imagination, and inspiring confidence. It's a symbol of your arrival. It's a brand new Cadillac. Discover the new spirit of Cadillac and the best offers of the season. Lease this 2015 Standard Collection SRX for around $359 a month. Hurry in, offer ends soon.
So Ally Bank really has no hidden fees on savings accounts?
That's right.
It's just that I'm worried about, hidden things.
Okay, why's that?
No hidden fees from the bank where no branches equals great rates.
Hey, Ralph Punzel. Where are you headed?
Great Clips.
You're getting a haircut?
I checked in already. Using their online check-in.
That's cool.
Next time, save time. Download the online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
You're here to buy a car. What would help is simply being able to recognize a fair price. TrueCar has pricing data on every make and model. So all you have to do is search for the car you want. There it is. Now you're an expert in less than a minute. This is TrueCar.
Hi, can you open the razor case, please?
Photo ID.
I'm just grabbing some razors.
Grabbing?
It's almost like they don't want you to buy their razors. DollarShaveClub.com delivers amazing razors for just a few bucks.
TaxAct was created for the ones who take pride in going from do-it-yourself to getting it done. So for all the makers, doers, and those with a can-do attitude, you got this. When you file your taxes with TaxAct.com, all e-filable federal forms are free, state forms are a best value, and you're guaranteed your maximum IRS refund fast. On your desktop, tablet, or phone, start anywhere and finish anytime. Do your own taxes. Start free today at TaxAct.com. You got this.
Look at today's Capital One pivotal performance, and it's his Florida State offense. They've had the ball 5 times, 4 third-quarter turnovers alone, 3 fumbles and an interception. And Oregon able to capitalize and turn them into points. This Florida State offense, we've seen them time and time again be able to come back from holes that they have dug themselves in early in games. And now they've run up into a juggernaut in Marcus Mariota in this Oregon offense.
27 unanswered for the Ducks, as Wilson is knocked down across the 20. Florida State, we were so used to seeing them excel after halftime, Kirk. They got points before the break, thought they might get back into it. Hasn't happened.
Yeah, and a couple of these fumbles from the true freshman, Dalvin Cook. Oregon turning 27 points. 4 turnovers into 27 points.
The last 2 turnovers by Winston. Fumble taken to the house by Washington, and then the pick.
Between not scoring touchdowns in the red zone early in the game and then all the turnovers in the third quarter, those are the 2 reasons Florida State finds themselves where they are.
There's a handoff to Williams. The Ducks, besides being explosive, are also opportunistic. If they've broken, by the way, the Rose Bowl record, no one had ever scored more than 49 points in the Rose Bowl. Really allowed all season long 12 points after the rare turnovers. They got about a 10-to-1 ratio, converting more than 120 points off opponents' takeaways.
Incredible. And I think
stats in the game.
I think the turnovers fit into their offensive attack mode. They get a turnover, change the momentum, boom, they turn up the accelerator.
Over the middle, into traffic, catch made. First down across the 40-yard line, and it's Green.
Can't help but thinking, you're looking over this stadium, about a turning point in their season for Oregon when they had lost on a Thursday night to Arizona at home. A lot of people thought, uh-oh, this Oregon team may be in trouble, even though it's Mariota's maybe his last year. And then a week later, they came into this stadium to play UCLA and won decisively, and they have not looked back since, winning 8 straight.
That's a great point. The game was October 11th. They led 42-10 over the Bruins for a couple of late touchdowns. Winston, a lot of time And the catch made. Wilson trying to break free. Lost the ball again. And the Ducks have it. Another turnover. The 5th. The 5th in less than 18 minutes.
Unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. And it's almost become contagious for Florida State. Bobo Wilson, who has come on this year as a sophomore. Great protection. Wilson's there right away. The ball gets a little bit away from his body. These Oregon defenders are coming in trying to knock that football loose. That's exactly what they did again. Well taught. Give Don Pelham, the defensive coordinator, a lot of credit for having these Ducks in attack mode. They don't give up on plays. They've given up some yards, but a lot of times they're knocking that ball loose after they give up the yards.
Tyson Coleman recovered that. Kirk Malone is in there again, forcing it. And now Tyner breaking free, and Thomas Tyner pinballing down near the 40-yard line. Ducks trying to really pour it on now.
Yeah, the Florida State will is being challenged. In fact, it's starting to crack. And when your will starts to crack, you start to become a poor tackler.
Worst team in the world to play when your will is cracking in the defense.
Yeah, because they're still in the same. They have the same mindset they had at the first snap of this game. They're not interested in 52 being a Rose Bowl record. They're executing. They're just executing. Scott Frost calls down the plays. They get it out there and use their tempo, and they're trying to put more points on the board.
Junior linebacker Reggie Northrup being helped off. 29th 50-point game since Helfrich became offensive coordinator. It was under Kelly, who obviously called the plays when he was here. Helfrich underappreciated. You look at the other coaches in this Final Four playoff bracket. Saban, Urban Meyer, Jimbo Fisher. This guy makes about a third of what those guys make so far. He's the most underpaid coach in America, says Jake Fisher, his left tackle.
And you know who the happiest guy is? His agent. he's about to
second happiest. I think Mark might be.
Yeah, you're right.
He deserves it. He will get, they've said,
he better
a raise.
Pay these assistants too. Pay them all. Got to do it. Market value, right?
They pay the assistants. They've upgraded their pay. And they'll work the play clock for once in the game. Only time they haven't been in a hurry all afternoon. Tyner.
Yeah, Chris, I'm going to tell you something. Thomas Tyner, not only tonight, but next week, it's going to be fun to watch with him running the football the way he is. This is great.
Medford, Oregon. He went to Austria, a player coach for the Vienna Vikings. Helfrich said he wanted to go to medical school. All of a sudden, you get interested in coaching. You saw the brief. Sent in Colorado, comes here, named the head coach, and a lot of folks outside of the Pac-12 said, who? Who's replacing Chip Kelly? Never heard of him.
Yeah. And Rob Mullins, the
beginning to hear him now.
He wanted to keep the continuity, so he stayed within that staff. They have incredible continuity with assistants that have been there for over 20 years, and they didn't want to go outside and bring somebody in to replace Chip. Obviously, it's worked out pretty well for him.
Tyner has a first down and more. Lowers the hat down near the 20. That's a great point, Kirk. The consistency on this staff. You got 3 assistants that have been in Eugene more than 2 decades.
And I think that's what helped with the transition. In fact, there wasn't a huge transition other than Chip Kelly ran the offense. You know, of course, during the week, he took a lot of information from Mark and other assistants on the offensive side, but he was in command of this team on the offensive side when he was calling the plays. And to take him out, I think a lot of people wondered who would have that presence, who would take over. And Mark's doing it his own way.
Yep.
And Scott Frost deserves a ton of credit for calling the plays. You imagine replacing Chip Kelly in this offense, calling the plays? Done a heck of a job.
Big shoes to fill, and Tyner cuts loose. Thomas Tyner to the end zone for the second time.
I'll tell you something. Florida State's quit. I don't know if they would ever say that, but Florida State has quit. They have shut down the operation here in the semifinal. Early in the 4th quarter.
Tyner reaching that very same end zone here in the Rose Bowl, where the late game heroics won him a championship a year ago, and they've lived dangerously throughout this 29-game streak, especially this season. 7 narrow escapes. But you're exactly right. The streak will die with a resounding defeat at the hands of the Oregon Ducks, who are closing in on the championship game up by 39.
There are no accidental champions. You can't hope your way to victory.
The 2015 Rose Bowl game is presented by you and Northwestern Mutual. Stronger together. And in part by Cadillac. And Taco Bell, bringing you the first ever student section at the College Football Playoff. Live Mas.
DirecTV with tonight's aerial coverage. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. From the blimp, you can see that in the garnet and gold section of the Rose Bowl, empty seats beginning to appear. Fan base so used to winning. They've done nothing but that the last 29 games, but rocked down 39. Whitfield breaks free. And now shoved out at the 40. So the Ducks will head down to Arlington, Texas to take on the winner of semifinal number 2. Amari Cooper and the Crimson Tide in New Orleans against the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Kurt?
Yeah, a big part of Ohio State's defense will be trying to contain Amari Cooper. I think you'll see them jam him at the line of scrimmage with safety help behind, just to try to take him away and force Alabama and Blake Sims to go to other receivers and other ways to try to move the ball and put points on the board. He has been obviously the weapon in that Alabama offense.
Mario Pender is the tailback behind Winston for the first time tonight. Will Fisher just run the ball and get out of here before further damage is created? Yeah, this is in likelihood the final college game for Jameis Winston. A chance perhaps, Kirk, if he had been able to get 2 more wins, to have the most remarkable 2-year career for any quarterback. As it is, his legacy is excellent. Yeah, regardless of what happens here.
Well, I'll talk about it more after this play.
Winston fires. A miscommunication. Leary was held up. It'll be 3rd and long.
For me, I know there have been a lot of distractions and a lot of things off the field. He's trying to keep Nick O'Leary in this game. He wants him to keep playing hard. But I always remember and respect his competitive spirit and how he rubbed off on his team. When this team faced adversity, they felt like they could always come back with number 5 as their leader, with number 5 out there. And that's a powerful thing to have when your entire team, not just the offense but the defense, leads off of belief in who you are. And that's what I'll remember about him.
Winston delivers high, incomplete. Another pass off the hands of a Knowles receiver. That was Travis Rudolph.
It's amazing to see this team and to see the mistakes they've made here in the 3rd quarter and now continuing on into the 4th. Fumbles, drop balls that have been through receivers' hands that have gone into the air for interceptions. Just this sequence here, these plays that they've been making routinely for most of the year, just not meant to be tonight.
Team that came in with supreme confidence and scored before the half, got the ball to begin this 3rd quarter, had to be filled with confidence and belief after success in so many situations, and then the fumbles began and belief began to bleed away.
This was an 18-13 game at halftime. 18-13, and they had the ball to start the 2nd half.
Back for the conclusion of the Rose Bowl game, presented by Northwestern Mutual after this.
Some cashback cards.
Celebrating its 10th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and PAT. Since 2005, Allstate has kicked in more than $3.8 million in scholarship funds. Marcus Mariota, no curtain call, but he'll sit out the rest of this game, replaced by Jeff Locke. Marcus pouring forth those emotions, the pride of being the first Hawaiian to win the Heisman Trophy, Kirk, as they hand the ball off to Kenny Bassett. Went home to Hawaii pretty exhausted, It rained, didn't get to the beach as much as he hoped. Stayed inside because everyone in Hawaii wanted a piece of his time and to shake his hand and congratulate him.
Absolutely, like this man right here.
Exactly.
It's not a bad. It's not. You don't see that every day. Check out.
Thanked in the speech of the Heisman.
Phil Knight,
yeah.
CEO of Nike, just hanging out over there. It's not a bad deal.
And of course, Phil and Penny Knight, benefactors of this Oregon athletic program in a huge way. Winston trying to compose himself. We knew that one quarterback's college career was going to almost certainly end on this field, and one's extend to an even bigger game. President Obama, like Mariota, a native-born Hawaiian, had this to say: as good a young man as he is an athlete, fun to watch all of Hawaii, root for his success. As St. Louis, Marcus High School was the president's alma mater's rivalry. Punahau's a powerhouse in Honolulu as well.
He said, "I'll let that slide."
Yeah, let it slide.
Great. I've had the good fortune of covering the Hula Bowl and been to Hawaii a number of times, and I know how proud the folks over there are of Marcus, like they are all the players that come from the islands and play college football, but especially when you win the grand prize.
Lockheed trying to convert, and it is Bassett breaking free. The little used third team tailback for the Ducks, even able to run through this Noles defense.
That defense, I tell you, the tackling. It's but one thing to struggle to deal with the tempo. It's another thing just not to tackle.
Starters are still out there for Florida State, but not playing like them.
Yeah, not at all.
Mariota was talking about his 4 days of rest in Hawaii and how excited the postman was when he brought this big heavy package to the Mariota household, thinking maybe this might be the Heisman I'm delivering. Bassett again. It was not. It was one of the other trophies that Marcus has won, but he better have a big trophy case. Super Mariota, living up to his nickname, Kirk. 26 of 36 today, 338, 2 touchdowns, a lot of coins.
A lot of coins and a big coin waiting for him in Arlington next week. That would be the 8th world, I believe, next week if you clear Arlington.
Who's playing the role of Luigi in this drama?
That's right. We don't know.
There's a fumble on the exchange, and that's a turnover for Oregon as Eric Nadi recovers it. And a smile from Bassett, who coughed it up. So with 6:28 to go, Noles get the football back, but this one's still firmly in Oregon's grasp, even if that football wasn't.
I'm a cheap bungee cord. This guy bought me at the gas.
Well, the Noles won the last of their 3 crystal balls here a year ago. This is the brand new national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. Fought for in Arlington, Texas, 11 nights from now. We'll be down there at AT&T Stadium, Oregon, awaiting the winner of semifinal number 2, Alabama and Ohio State. As the Noles take over following the fumble. Kirk, want to get your take on that football game. Cardale Jones' second start. You see Winston on the sidelines. Apparently his evening ended in all likelihood his college career. The decision day is January 15th. But now with this loss, he'll begin to immediately plot and plan, and one would presume that he'll enter the draft. He's a redshirt sophomore. Sean McGuire, who filled in for Winston and helped his team beat Clemson in that overtime game, is in at the position now.
Yeah, really, that was his main opportunity. You know, he's only had 2 pass attempts since that Clemson game. Led him to a victory when it looked that night like they might not be able to get through that one without Jameis Winston, but came up with a big pass late in that game and kept their dream alive.
Third down play. And McGuire skips it, so it'll be 4th down.
You're talking about that next game, about Cardale Jones, and think that's the big mystery in the next game. Is you have Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, who have quite a reputation of getting a defense ready with a 3-week or 4-week layoff, getting ready for bowl games. And then you have a quarterback that played great in a Big Ten championship game, but there isn't a whole lot of experience other than that. And you have the matchup up front with the Ohio State offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott against that Bama D-line. It's going to be a great matchup.
Beatty punts it down, and Johnny Lloyd, the former Oregon basketball point guard, makes the fair catch. To put in perspective, this 29-game winning streak for Florida State, which is certainly one of the best in the modern era, go back the last 50 years. It's Miami's streak, 2000-2001, which includes a championship that they won on this field in a rout over Nebraska. Tremendously talented team that many Oregon fans had hoped they would face in this setting. UCS formula gave the edge to Nebraska. USC with that 34-game streak. Noles so dominant a year ago. Tested really only here in the championship game. Tested so frequently this season, able to pass every test until this one. And Benoit now, the fourth tailback. Knocked down after a short game.
For me, with Florida State at this point, it's games out of reach. Now you're gonna, when you look at film, you're gonna find out for next year who your Warriors are. You know, you want to find out guys who finish it to the end. It's obviously disappointed. 29-game win streak, chasing another national championship. Those things are out of the window at this point. But you don't want to give up. You know, we've seen some signs of that here in this second half. And I think if I'm Jimbo Fisher and Charles Kelly, I want to see who my foxhole guys are for next year.
Breaking free. Benoit out near midfield, and every Duck running back who touches the ball is having success now.
Yeah, they're just running the football, and you know, they're trying to work a little bit of clock, but you're going up against this Noles defense that's again emotionally spent. You know, they have been on their heels most of this game against the tempo and against the different looks, and you know, when you start to lose your edge defensively, you start to either have poor tackling or poor fits as far as being physical with your fits, and we've seen quite a bit of that here in the second half against Oregon's offense from Florida State.
It's another Rose Bowl record for the Ducks, Kirk. They already have 10 more points than any team had ever scored before. And now the record for yards, 641 after that 1-yard gain.
Yeah, their fans want another touchdown. They're cheering. They want another touchdown. They want to get over 60 points. Incredible to think. Who woke up today on a new year thinking that Oregon's going to score potentially over 60 points playing Florida State?
7 by the defense. They've cashed in takeaways for touchdowns. Who thought that Florida State would only score 20 against this Oregon defense?
Yeah.
Benoit again. Stopped at midfield.
I just continue to go back to think, you know, kind of reliving this game a little bit. Florida State scores a touchdown at the end of the first half, and they get the ball to start the second half. Momentum on their side. It's 18-13 for a team that's been really prided itself on coming back in second halves this year, and everything just got away from them in a blink of an eye with all the turnovers. And the way Oregon capitalized on those 4 turnovers and the 27 points in the third quarter.
We saw Rashad Green, one of the great receiving careers ever at Florida State. That career will end here tonight. Yeah, the Ducks scored that first possession they had in the third quarter. Then the Cook turnover. Then that avalanche began, and they couldn't reverse it.
Yeah, and whoever plays them next week, it's not just dealing with Mariota and the tempo and all that. And they've had this since Chip Kelly was there as the head coach. It happens fast. It is like an avalanche. You're hanging around, and the margin of error is so slight. In the blink of an eye, it's touchdown, touchdown, turnover, touchdown. And you look up, Michigan State, they went through that this year when they went out to Eugene. They hung around for 2.5 quarters. Midway through the third quarter, Oregon scored like 28 unanswered. Boom, just like that. Look up at the scoreboard, and it's a blowout.
Oh, yep. It was a 21-zip run to end the game against Stanford as well.
Yeah. So whoever plays them next week, you better avoid those runs of momentum that Oregon can get on.
Quarterback comparison here. Winston threw the ball pretty effectively. 348, did have the one interception, stumbled and lost that fumble that Washington returned for a touchdown.
Numbers are a little bit misleading. I don't think it was really a contest when you look at the totality. Marcus Mariota has been in command. He had the one throw that sailed on him that was a surprise before the half. Florida State wasn't able to capitalize on that interception, but boy, he has just been, it's like the game's moving in slow motion for him. He's moving at warp speed, snapping the ball every 12 seconds, and the defense it's literally like they're in slow motion.
.41 points as a half as a Rose Bowl record. We talked about the 59 and the 641 total yards. If it is a matchup in Arlington against Alabama, it'll be the first ever meeting between the two schools. Ducks are 0-8 against Ohio State if they face the Buckeyes, lost here in the Rose Bowl about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I love that shot of him over there just being one of the guys. That's his sanctuary. Not so much answering questions at the post-game presser today, but right there being one of the guys. He's not the guy, even though all of us on the outside, he's the guy. He's one of the guys, and that's a really neat thing about Marcus Mariota, and it's why his teammates genuinely love this man as their leader.
He's grown as a leader too. They've asked him to be more vocal and more engaging, and he certainly has been. It's a different leadership style. You don't always see it in front of the cameras. You get the buckets warmed up here for Helfrich.
Chris, uncharted waters for all of us, right? They're going to load up the water, but uncharted waters here with this celebration. Usually we're here at this stadium and it's the culmination to a season. We got a game in what, 11 or 12 days. Oregon does. So there'll be a celebration here, but there's more work to be done for Mark Helfrich and for the Oregon team. So it's a different feel. It feels different.
I totally agree. It's historic, and part of it is that it won't quite feel the same winning this game, where you can walk out and savor it and begin to think about the offseason. You begin to think about the Crimson Tide of the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Alabama favored for a reason over Ohio State. Experts made Oregon a favorite here, and that raised some eyebrows, but this was a resounding statement by the entire Ducks organization. A 39-point victory. They'll get the t-shirts, they'll be the confetti, and they'll get that trophy.
We still have the water down there. They're going to throw the water. Oh, they're emptying it. Maybe this isn't. You got to save the water potentially for the next one.
Victory formation. 34 unanswered points to turn a close game into a beatdown. And the Seminoles head for the locker room. Not many of them heading to midfield to shake hands.
Glad to see Jameis Winston as a leader of this team stuck it out. Over half the Florida State team right into the locker room. Didn't come across. Jimbo Fisher shakes hands.
Disappointing to you?
That's disappointing that 70% of the Florida State team's in the locker room. It's easy to go across when you win a game to shake hands. You lose a game after 29 games, and you can't come over and shake a hand of an Oregon player and tell him congratulations. Rashad Green's doing it.
Certainly Winston and Mariota in exchange. They'll see each other on Sundays to follow, no doubt. Tom Rinaldi's on the field with Mark Helfrich.
Chris, thank you very much. Before the game, the question was, how do you beat a team that hasn't lost in 29 straight? Now the question is, how did you beat them this decisively?
Well, we just tried to out-team them, and I think our defense just played very, very well in the second half, creating a bunch of turnovers. Our special teams, we knew we were in for an absolute dogfight with their return game, and offensively, we tried to do enough to make a difference. But extremely proud of our guys and our coaches. Great representation from our fans, and now we got one more.
What did you prove?
I don't know. That's up to you. You guys are all the geniuses in the media, but we believe a ton in our deal, and we believe a ton in who we are, and we've got a great team, great team of guys.
You were facing a team that had come back 9 times this season. What was the key to such a dominant third quarter?
Just playing. You know, we talked about halftime of just playing a little bit cleaner in every phase and finishing. And we absolutely knew we were going to get a dogfight. And that is an excellent team, an outstanding team. Ton of credit to those guys. It's unfortunate, you know, it goes from 4-2, and it's all of a sudden their season's a failure. That is a great team, very well coached.
It's uncharted territory. Now you have another game. How long do you enjoy this?
A few hours. We need to enjoy it because, again, those guys haven't been beaten in a long time, and it's tough. It's tough to do what our guys have done, but we've got a plan. We've got a plan.
Congratulations, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Let's go to Heather.
Tom, thanks so much. Joined by Marcus Mariota. Congratulations. You came in tonight as a Heisman winner. You leave leading your team to a national championship. How would you describe this moment?
It's incredible. I'm so proud of these guys in here, and for us to prepare all week and for it to show. I mean, you know, I'm just proud of these guys, and, you know, we got one more to take care of.
You guys used tempo as a weapon, but how were you able to do it so well in the third and fourth quarters?
It just starts with practice. You know, every single day we practice like that, and these guys were in shape, and, you know, for us, we just wanted to use it as a weapon.
You had one loss early. You guys haven't looked back since then. What did you learn in that one that helped you tonight?
I think any type of adversity makes a team stronger. It brings everybody together. And, you know, I'm proud of these guys. Once that loss happened, the mindset didn't change. And, you know, now we're headed to the national championship.
Marcus, this wasn't just a win. What kind of statement did the Oregon Ducks make tonight?
I mean, that's up to you guys. You know, all we want to do is come in and win and you know, get ready for hopefully playing in the national championship.
So much talk that this was just the third meeting of Heisman winning quarterbacks. You had a moment to talk to Jameis briefly after the game. What was that conversation like?
I just told him good game to keep his head up. And, I mean, he's a great player. He's going to make plays. But, you know, I'm proud of the defense and the way they played, and we came out on top today.
Congratulations. We'll see you at the national championship. Nice way to ring in the new year, Marcus. Chris, back to you.
No one's ever had to tell Jameis Winston, keep your head up after a loss in college. His, in all likelihood, final college game is his first loss as a starting quarterback. Back at the scene where he heroically led the Noles to a championship a year ago, he certainly could envision nothing like this. And quarterback echoing the words of his coach. A little salt from Mark Helford saying, you geniuses in the media can figure out what statement we made. It took no genius to see how they got this victory done.
Can I help him? I'm not a genius, but I observe a lot of college football. And can we put to bed, America, that Oregon is a soft team? Can we? Can we put to bed that they can't play in games like this? They got on a big stage and they dominated a football game, not just with Marcus Mariota. They dominated in every way. Up front, they were physical. Their defense was questioned how they would match up against this speed from Florida State. They answered the bell. So to me, we can close the chapter or the discussion or the conspiracy theories out there that this team can't play in these kind of games.
They are enjoying the moment, no doubt, but a bigger game awaits in Arlington, Texas against the winner of semifinal number 2, Alabama and Ohio State. The Ducks came close to a championship once, lost by 3 to Auburn, but this is the first ever win over a top 2 team. For our team in Pasadena so long, now to New Orleans, the Crimson Tide and the Buckeyes semifinal number 2.